Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hey, we're back for another week. Week. We've made it to this week. Who knows about next week, though? I don't know. What do you
we
think?
We have a lot to do.
What do you think, Ian?
We can't...
we'll make it to next week?
We have to. We have so much to do.
Well, I mean, just kind of like in general. Will the world make it to next week? That's the real question.
It better. We have a lot to do.
Oh, boy. What are we doing, Ian? What are we doing?
Well, we are going to do the first of its kind, a patron-sponsored character Q&A. We kind of put this out there as a joke that if people wanted me to do the show as Dr. Starline, they just have to pony up the cash and we'll do it. And they did it for two. So we're going to do one this month, and then the other one was specifically requested to be after Sonic number 50. So that one's a while down the road. But here we are. We're coming up on the first Starline Q&A, and I'm sure you have burning questions for the good doctor. So this is how you can ask them. We're going to have an announcement tweet on Twitter that should be going up the same time as this episode. Reply to that tweet with hashtag StarlineQA. If you're on YouTube, comment on one of the more recent videos with the hashtag StarlineQA. Email us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com with, in the subject line, hashtag StarlineQA. And if you're one of our patrons or Ko-fi supporters over on the Discord, go into the Ask Q&A channel and, again, tag it with hashtag StarlineQA, so it's easier for us to find these questions. That being said, there's probably going to be a bajillion of you, and we can't do a 3-hour show, so we will be cherry-picking the questions. If it doesn't get answered, sorry. You didn't make the cut this particular time. It's not a usual BumbleKast. Dr. Starline is very particular in what he spends his precious time on. So, you have from January 24th, today's episode, to January 31st to submit your questions, and we will have the episode about in mid-February. We'll let you know when exactly it's coming out. So, there you go. Ask your question, hashtag StarlineQA, and you have until the end of the month. Happy asking.
Indeed. And if you've already asked, don't worry. I've seen it, and I've grabbed it. It's just, if you want to be extra sure, you can ask again. So no harm in asking again if you want to make extra sure, and we'll go from there. Are we ready to get into my question for you, Ian, to start off the show?
We are. We're starting our weeks off now with Kyle's Questions Corner, and this is where Kyle asks some burning question that the internet is just too afraid to ask.
Alrighty, here we go. This one is from me. So, Ian, do you hate Sally? Do you hate Sonic and Sally being a couple?
Kyle, wait a minute.
Did you kill off Sally specifically to prevent them from being together? Did you try? Did you try to force Sally and Nicole into a relationship in the reboot because you didn't want to see her together with Sonic? Did you
we were friends?
Did you deliberately keep Sonic and Sally apart because you have a vendetta against Sonic and Sally fans?
This is not what we talked about. Does
killing off a character or putting them into a dire situation necessarily mean that the writer legitimately hates the character?
Okay, now that's more of a legitimate... Kyle! What kind of question is this?
This is what people are talking about, you know? I mean, I'm just a messenger. Okay. Don't blame me.
All right. Let's dissect this. Do you hate Sally? No, I wouldn't champion rally for Sally if I hated Sally. I don't hate characters. Like, maybe there's some that I have more preference than others. Like, I'm not jumping out of my seat to find a reason to bring Eggman and Nega back into the mix. But
well, I mean, no. I don't know. Last week you had kind of got on Chris Thorndike.
Well, yeah, but that's the exception that proves the rule because he's trash. Okie
dokie.
Sonic and Sally being a couple. No, I've talked in the past about why they work. They're a fun dynamic. Did I kill off Sally specifically to prevent them from being together? No, that would be petty and stupid. It was a dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Like we've said in the past on the show, the point of that arc was to bring the Freedom Fighters down to their lowest And then the second half of the arc was going to be their triumphant return to form, that they conquer all setbacks and underminings and whatnot. It's just the book was canceled. So I kind of cut off at the knees there. Tried to force Ellie and Nicole into relationships, blah, 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 blah. No. The whole reason why making Sally bi was to honor that old tradition of her having a relationship with Sonic. So we could say in the past they did have a fling. And then the Sally Nicole thing was just a new way to take both characters. And I don't think it was particularly forced, given that we didn't actually get that one off the ground. Nobody picked up on it until I said that's where we were going with it.
Yeah.
And then, fire and pitchforks, anger of this thing that we didn't know was the thing. Deliberately keep Sonic and Sally apart. I can't think of any instance of where we did that. Like, what are they? What are you talking about there, Kyle?
I don't know.
When were they apart?
I don't know. Like when she was roboticized, maybe. I don't know.
Again, that you take the brains and the leadership of the freedom fighters and you turn it into the greatest weapon against them.
Yeah.
That's harrowing. That is a dramatic twist.
That is good storytelling. That's one way to do it. Yes.
Are we mad because Sonic was roboticized? The freedom fighters' greatest weapon turned into the greatest weapon against them? That's harrowing. That's a twist.
Yeah.
Are we still mad at Endgame that they were going to kill off Sally because he couldn't think of anything else to do with her at that point?
No, it was just recently called the best Sonic comic arc ever.
Like, if you don't like bad things happening to the characters you love, I get that. That's perfectly sensible.
Yes.
But to think that there's some kind of deep-rooted vendetta to destroy that character is silly.
No, usually if someone hates a character, they're usually a bit more forthright about it.
Yeah. And does killing off a character or putting them in a dire situation necessarily mean that the writer legitimately hates that character? Not necessarily, no. I can't use the universal blanket statement of no, never, because if you know anything about comic book history, especially in the Western markets, there has been a lot of pettiness there. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But I grew up loving these books. I love this franchise and all its weird little nuances and side things. I'm not going to waste the time and effort specifically to destroy something. Like, if we were to get Sonic X back somehow for some reason, and the directive was really focus on that friendship of Sonic and Chris, I may have to choke back the bile, but I'm not going to write Chris as an absolute slobbering idiot because I don't particularly like him. I would try to find what that dynamic is. What is it about it that is charming? What is their friendship based on? How do you make something wholesome and endearing out of it?
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, this is kind of preaching to the choir. I think the folks who have decided that I hate Sally
don't care and don't listen to this. No, I know.
We've been through this for years now, so I don't really know what I can say to convince folks that I'm approaching this as a fan of the series and someone who's trying to write engaging and fun and exciting and dramatic stories. And if you equate bad things happening to your favorites as a personal slight, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry. Don't read the book then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And the idea of that is kind of crazy to me. It's like, no, it's not a personal insult if a character does something you don't like or is written in a way that you don't like or anything like that.
And I'm not trying to invalidate any criticism, because if you didn't like that particular plot twist,
sure,
if you didn't like that arc, for your personal reasons or whatever, that's fine. You didn't like it. And I'm sorry I missed the mark with you. I'm not going to be able to please all the people all the time. But it's not personal. I don't sit there at the computer going, how can I make people angry today?
Why not? It's probably because it's really annoying when the people are angry and they don't stop.
It's a cheap fuel for instant attention.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't like the negativity.
Yes.
I don't like the confrontation.
Meanwhile, yeah, anyway. Let's get into the real Q&A. This one comes to us courtesy of Speed Weed. All right, so SEGA and Capcom are crossing over again with Sonic and Monster Hunter Rise. Given Valstrax is in the game this time, it's got me thinking. We've seen Gore Magdala interacting with Styx and Mega Man X, but we never got to see Sonic interacting with the Monster Hunter world. Therefore, how would an encounter go between Sonic, the fastest hedgehog alive, and Valstrax, the red comet that's also a living jet fighter on steroids?
So I am not really that familiar with Monster Hunter at all. Gore Magala was included in Worlds Unite because Monster Hunter was the big Capcom IP, and Capcom specifically asked for Gore Magala. And when I was reading reactions to that big final crossover thing, I saw a lot of Monster Hunter fans that were disappointed that Gore Magala was just kind of there, that nothing interesting about that monster was utilized in the story. And that's fair. I totally get that. I missed those details when doing my research, and really there wouldn't have been room to use it appropriately because there was just too much in that. So mea culpa on that one. I fully admit that as cool as it was seeing Gore Magala jump into Giant Sigma's face and go all crazy on him, it's not like the best representation of the series. And I would understand if a lot of Monster Hunter fans were just like, it was lip service, but it didn't really get me hyped. I get that. That's too bad. So I really don't know anything about Valstrax. I don't know anything about the monster, even though Speedweed does a good job of describing it. It's very illustrative. I imagine Sonic would just run fast as it flies fast. I'm assuming it flies. I don't know, maybe kind of like a fight with the Egg Wyvern, only more faster paced and possibly cooler.
Yeah.
Sonic takes down very large opponents all the time. That it would be very cinematic. Lots of QTEs.
Yes. But he would not kill them and gut them at the end like you normally would in a Monster Hunter. No, that's... No.
No Valstrax chili dogs.
Aw, darn. Darn. Poor Sonic. Can't do anything fun. Here's a question from Dove. It's game night in Sonic's world. Even villains are invited. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Tangle, Whisper, Starline, Amy, Eggman, Shadow, and Rouge can make it. Rules say that everyone needs to bring a game to play. So what game, or type of game, if you don't want to get too specific for everyone, do they all bring?
That is a long list of people.
I'm assuming this is like tabletop more so than video, but I guess it could be both.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with tabletop because I feel like that's the spiritual essence of game night.
Yeah, I think so.
Sonic brings Connect 4 because it's super fast. 4 pieces. Boom, 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 boom. You make a line, you're done. Restart. Boom, 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 boom. You're done. You're good.
Yep. Sonic is boring.
Anything else is a little too slow for him because you got to wait and plot and plan.
Mm-hmm.
Tails brings Mousetrap. He likes building the stuff. He likes the Rube Goldberg machine essence of it that ultimately serves a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Knuckles, he brings a couple of Rock'em Sock'em robots. He doesn't understand that's not a board game.
It's not. It should be.
Tangle surprises everybody and brings Monopoly. You wouldn't think she'd have the patience for it, but she is absolutely ruthless.
Uh-oh.
She will make sure that you pay every cent when you land on her property.
Oh, boy.
Like, nobody is quite prepared for just how vicious a capitalist she is.
Oh.
Also, she goes by the free parking rule.
Oh, the one that makes the game last way longer than it needs to?
Absolutely.
Oh, God. I hate that rule.
Whisper brings a deck of cards to play poker.
Oh, okay.
She has an inscrutable poker face.
Well, I mean, she wears a mask. It's kind of cheating.
Starline brings Risk and is very chagrined to find that Eggman brought one of those novelty variations on Risk, which doesn't really follow the rules and kind of breaks the core gameplay, but Eggman brought it, so he'll play along this time.
I thought maybe they'd bring like I don't know, try and bring like Warhammer 40K or something.
No, that's Shadow. He has a meticulously painted collection.
Oh, okay, there we go.
He plays as the orcs because they are chaos incarnate, and he has chaos control.
Yep, it's true. Perfect. I like it.
And he speaks like the orcs, but still in that deadpan voice.
I like it.
I will now roll. Dim boy's going to bring the DACA.
What about Amy?
Amy. She brings one of those like board games that are just kind of your general go around the board and accrue things. I can't think of anything specific, but
I'm gonna say, yeah, this is a good one from our chat. Dream Phone.
Yeah, maybe if that counts.
Yeah, sure. That's actually it's actually a pretty fun game apparently, but yeah, it's definitely in her wheelhouse, I think.
And Rouge just brings drinks and snacks because watching game night absolutely devolve every single night is entertainment enough for her.
Or maybe she brings the game of life, which is a horrible game, by the way. It's not a good fun game, but you know.
I mean, she's the only one who can really compete against Tangle and Monopoly. She's equally ruthless.
Yeah. I feel like Rouge would be like just dominate at Monopoly though, because you know she's Rouge, steals everything.
Well, the hang up is she doesn't want to spend the money to improve the property. She has the money. Why get rid of the money? She doesn't like the concept of spend money to make money. She has the money now. Don't make her give up the money.
Yes.
What do you mean, utilities?
Who brings the Uno card? Or who brings Uno and that has the custom card that says, tell Tangle you love her or draw 25?
Amy brings the Uno.
Okay, there we go. Amy brings that and is trying to play matchmaker for Tangle and Whisper. Yep, there we go. Then Settlers of Catan. Who's bringing that? I don't know. I don't know, man. Nobody brought Cards Against Humanity. Darn.
Well, Rouge brought that one time, but then Shadow wouldn't talk to her for like a week.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. There's a few
custom about Maria wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all.
Oh no! There's a few custom cards in there. Yeah. Cream brings Candyland. That makes sense. Maybe. Or maybe she brings Settlers of Catan. All right. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah, we have lots to get through. We have an extra beefy episode to catch up on all the priority Q&A.
Yep, we are playing catch up as much as we can. So let's get into this one from the artist formerly known as PC the Unicorn, now known as Pedanticat. As I read Imposter Syndrome, I couldn't help but be reminded of the Android saga, given how like Dr. Giro or Giro? Giro, Dr. Giro.
It is Giro, but Dr. Giro.
Okay. Starline has two powerful creation he wants to use to kill the titular character, along with conquering the world. Since you're a fan of Dragon Ball Z, was this inspired by that saga, or is it just a happy coincidence? Because now I'm wondering if this means that Starline secretly created a cybernetic Bugmobian that comes from Silver's future and travels to the present, who must absorb Kit and Surge to achieve their perfect form, which will then culminate in a martial arts tournament for the fate of the planet, with Cream going Super Saiyan 2 to defeat said creation, since she would be the Gohan in this situation, I imagine. Oh, and I guess Gemerald could be the Android 16 whose death triggers Cream's transformation.
Gemerald likes the birds and the people Better not birds. If we're going to draw parallels, though, Tails is Gohan. Come on now.
Really? Yeah.
The brilliant understudy to the main character. Yeah. Not to diss Cream, but yeah, it would be Tails. So here's the thing. The original pitch for Imposter Syndrome, the origin of Surge and Kit, was turned down, and SEGA offered a different origin for them that still fit everything. I'm like, okay, fine, that works. We'll roll with it. And I later saw someone saying, oh, this is just the Android Saga. And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's okay. So yeah, you have Starline, who's a brilliant roboticist. And yes, you have two characters who get souped up with powers to take out the main hero. And damn it, it's the Android Saga.
Oops, you did it.
I absolutely did it. And I am kind of chagrined. Now, to be fair, Starline and Giro are very different characters. Surge and Kit are very different from 17 and 18, and their dynamic is wildly different. And there is no bug monster coming from Silver's future to absorb them or anything. We're not following the beats, but yeah, it doesn't take a lot to water it down and say it's very, 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 very much alike.
Oh, Sega. You gotta stop looking at Dragon Ball Z for inspiration for Sonic. There's one from Sonic. Is Chaos Energy considered magic? And are items like the Light Speed Shoes and Crystal Ring in Sonic Adventure powered by Chaos Energy?
Now, this is an older note, but I did get a note at one point saying there is no magic in the Sonic universe.
Okay.
All evidence to the contrary. The Light Speed Shoes and the Crystal Ring, oh boy, it's been so long, but I think it describes that you gather light into them, but it's not like Chaos Energy, no. Don't think of Chaos Energy in the old Archie Sonic sort of way. That does not exist in the canon.
Yep. No fun allowed. No magic. It must all be something else. I don't know what it is.
Except, for the game where he's running with a freaking genie and gets summoned by a wizard.
That's outside the universe, Ian. Ignore Witch Cart. No, Witch Cart is not real. Just because she's a witch doesn't mean she's magic. Okay? Ignore that. Ignore everything that contradicts everything. Do it. Do not think about it. Do not pay attention to that plot hole behind the curtain. Here's a question from Noni. Does Starline need his glasses, or are they just there for style points? Thought about holding this. I thought about holding this one for the Starline Q&A, but Noni actually has a few questions for Starline, so I chose this one because I don't know, I thought it was pretty good.
I'm gonna say 30% practical, 70% style.
All right, well, hey, he's got to look his best.
Well, they can't be as large as Dr. Eggman's, because then he's just a full-on poser, but he does so want to look like his idols. little glasses. There we go. He can look past them. He can look over them.
Yes. All right, here's a question from Jams, or Just a Mountain Soul. After the attack on Station Square via missile and the destruction of the moon, Eggman must be seen as a terrorist to both humans and Mobians on Earth. If this is the case, what do you think is the explanation for why or how he is able to just take a stroll down to Central City Lab in Sonic Battle, hold an EX World Grand Prix, form Mediotech, and build a giant interstellar amusement park without Gun or any local authorities stopping or immediately shutting it down? Is he just so enchanting to the general populace that they'd forgive his past transgressions?
The best I can come up with is he's able to build a lot of this out of sight, out of mind, so that when he trots out the full interstellar amusement park, it's like, where did that come from? When did that get there? he doesn't go out in public too much. And even still, you'd be surprised how much your general populace can just overlook something. And at least in one of the Grand Prix, he was incognito, passing himself as like King somebody or other. There's no good explanation. Basically, it comes down to each game kind of just treats itself as its own thing, and the continuity is super freaking loose. But I think in general, it's just Eggman, gets beaten back like a weed, and then before you know it, he springs back fully formed.
Yeah. Maybe it's like the Grinch, another Jim Carrey character, who just says, "I'm sorry," and then immediately goes back to doing the evil things again in secret. But everyone's just too nice; they keep forgiving him. It's weird. It's a very weird thing. We got a question here from Solaris Stain. From the half-elves of classical fantasy to the Sith Empire, from the Old Republic and other works of fiction, people love their hybrids. Even in the Archie comics, we got hybrid characters such as Manic and Sonia of Light Mobius. Will we ever see human/Mobian hybrids in the Sonic universe? Do Archie Mobians count as hybrids since they have some human DNA thanks to the gene bombs? Archie Sonic was weird.
Full on human anthro hybrids? No, I don't see that ever happening. As for old Archie, I don't know. It kind of comes down to semantics at that point. I feel like sure, they share a great deal of DNA, but I mean, we're extremely similar to chimps genetically. We're also extremely similar to bananas genetically. It's not like they can intermingle. You're not going to get a chimp banana, no matter how hard you try. So, given the amount of time between the gene bombing and the present day, I am willing to say that the Mobians as a species, while highly variable in their appearance, are distinct enough from humans, given the amount of time spent. They just had a similar genetic basis.
Yeah. So no cat girls in Sonic's world. Nope.
Unless that's what we want to count Sarah as, which raises a lot of questions.
Whoa!
About
Hey,
the president.
Forgot about that. Yeah, that's true.
Blaze, do not cross her into the OVA. I do not like the implications.
No, that's not. Hero of Light 13 has a question. We're getting away. We're getting away from that one and running to this one. There seems to be some confusion and misunderstanding around how you choose to handle Silver and Blaze's stories. Some people seem to think you deliberately want them to remain separated and not paired up as a duo just because you want Blaze to remain alone or something to that effect. While I don't personally interpret it this way myself, I thought you might like the chance to give some clarity on the subject. A lot of fans are pretty starved for some solid Silver and Blaze team-up stories, so the concern is understandable. Wow, this is very similar to the question we started with.
Almost an underlying theme. You're not giving me what I want, therefore you hate what I like. No. Now, that being said, thinking back on the IDW run, we really didn't get a lot of Silver and Blaze time together, and they were around at the same time. And they were together during the big assault on Angel Island, and they didn't get a lot of screen time together. And I'm looking back on that going, shoot, missed my opportunity. But there was a lot of stuff going on in that final showdown. There really wasn't a lot of room for it. So it's not a conscious decision on my part. It's more that I just haven't gotten to it yet, to be honest. It's something that slipped through the cracks. That's one of the pitfalls of having a big ensemble book like this, is that you can only do so much with so many at any given time. And then Silver and Blaze went back to their own respective pockets of narrative. It'd be a whole lot easier if they were just around more often. So maybe that's the first hurdle to get over, is just get them in the same room for more than 5 minutes when it's not a crisis, and then give them some time to just be cool.
Yeah, we need they need interdimensional time traveling cell phone technology so they can text each other, even though they're one's in the future and one's in another dimension. Figure it out. Somebody figure it out. Tails will figure it out. Yeah, he's smart. Here's one from Zanderoni the Painter. After reading through the Sonic Encyclopedia, I noticed that the Mario and Sonic the Olympic Games series did not show any screenshots of Mario characters. What were some of the limitations when it came to Sonic in crossovers or cameos in other games?
That would be more of a question for the folks at Dark Horse. I was working under the assumption that I shouldn't bring in other IPs because that would be more licensing stuff. So when I wrote it, I was writing more the factual information and focusing just on the Sonic material. And I figured if there was any other details from other properties, I would either be asked to include it, which I wasn't, or when gathering assets, Dark Horse would handle that, which they did.
Right. Yeah, because you didn't handle what screenshots and pictures were used or like page layouts and stuff. That was all. There's many people who worked on that book rather than just Ian. So just so you guys know, Ian was not in control of the whole thing. I was. I mean, no, it wasn't me. Not me. Here's one from Ava Arctic. Have you ever worked on a story for something only to find out partway through that it had already been done before? Did you have to scrap it, or were you able to adjust parts to make it work? Any tips for future writers who may have this roadblock? This doesn't have to be limited to Sonic.
No, we just covered Android Saga. Nothing immediately springs to mind. I'm sure someone out there will go, oh yes, Ian is a hack and he quite clearly ripped this off for this story somewhere. And yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe it does have a lot of parallels.
I'm kind of wondering if there's ever been something you've written and then realized, oh, that story with this within this same property or within this same book had already been done before.
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. So you didn't accidentally write something that ripped off something from earlier in Archie, for example, or anything. Archie Sonic.
I can't think of anything where I've gone, oops, that's a retread. I mean, I know there was one character that I wanted to pitch, and I was kind of fleshing out the story in my head, and I'm like, wait, no, that's just Emerald's story again. Crap. Oh, well, throw that out. But I can't think of having gone over my own stuff again. I know that there are a lot of turns of phrase or pacing or narrative conceits that I kind of gravitate towards, but that's more like the tools in the toolbox rather than the thing that you've actually constructed.
Shoehorning song lyrics into dialogue is a very common thing you like to do.
Sometimes, by God, it's nice. It works. And other times it's like, yeah, that was entirely too self-indulgent.
Yeah. Sometimes you get a little too you're trying a little too hard there, buddy. But other times,
and sometimes folks love it. Sometimes folks are like, it didn't work, and some folks hate it every single time.
Oh yeah, so,
what you gonna do?
Yeah, pretty much.
In terms of advice, I would say either learn to step away from your work. One of the easy ways to do it is kind of read it backwards and see if anything stands out. That's more of a grammatical thing, but sometimes if you're putting it together differently in your head, you'll notice that something is amiss. Or find yourself a good editor, someone who can point at it and say, yeah, that's not going to work, or it worked, why are you doing it again? And be ready to say, darn, I'm wrong, I have to change things. Or whoops, that's a mistake, I have to change things. I love it, but it's got to go.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go with one from Many Hats. Do you think characters with complex origins, like Silver being from the future, or Shadow with Maria and aliens, and Knuckles being stuck with a rock, and Blaze being from another dimension, would lose something integral if those elements were simplified? How would you rewrite them so that they'd be more fitting and easier to use?
I don't know if they need to be rewritten, because I think the characters themselves are strong enough in their own right. Like,
Mhm.
you can describe Silver without ever mentioning the future. He's naive. He has a heart of gold. He strives to be a hero and really wants the best for everyone. Doesn't necessarily have the confidence to do it every time, but he has the drive to overcome that, to face any challenge for the greater good. That has nothing to do with being from the future. Shadow is stoic and no nonsense and sometimes even vicious, but is ultimately fighting for the little guy. He may not be the most compassionate or outwardly nice about things, but he will not hesitate to stop an oppressive force from being evil. That has nothing to do with Maria or the aliens. Sure, you get a little more context if you put it in there, but it doesn't necessarily define who he is in the present. So I think you could take any one of those characters and move them forward without the complicated backgrounds. I think it would be more trouble going back and trying to retcon or rewrite things to be simplified when really the characters themselves are already strong. They just need to be taken in a new direction that isn't shackled to the past, or in Silver's case, the future. Bum. Like, find a reason to make Angel Island and the Master Emerald safe and have Knuckles do something else. Have the Soul Dimension be safe so Blaze can come to Sonic's world and do something else. Have Shadow do something, anything that doesn't involve some 50-year-old conspiracy, long-lost science project. The future is now safe. That has been established. So have Silver come back to the present and do something. And it's fine. You're good. You can just go forward.
Yeah. Here's one from Yoshi Milkman. Salutations, Ian and Kyle. I was thinking about Omo Chow recently as he was featured in Chow Races and Badnik Bases, the IDW Sonic story. So, if you can answer, are there multiple Omo Chows, or is it just the same one every single time?
I like to think of Omo Chow as like the Borg.
Oh no.
There's multiple, but they are one.
Oh boy. That is horrifying. They have a hive mind. That's dangerous, man. This is crazy. This is wow. Yeah. I don't want to hear Omo Chow telling me resistance is futile. That's I do not want to be assimilated by the Omo Chow. Do not want.
Your biological and technological individuality will be assimilated into the collective.
No, thank you. Frightening. It's time to kick that Chow out of here. I think that's
one they all know.
I think that's one instance where it would be okay to yeet the Omo Chow right out of the stratosphere. Just boom, right there. Just gone. Yeah. No. Speaking of things we don't want, here's a question from Off. Sorry, buddy. I just thought it was funny. Ringtail lemurs have set glands that they rub all over the ends of their tails to mark their territory and to throw at each other. Oh, maybe we don't want this question.
Yeah, I'm already dreading where this is going.
That said, do you think Tangle could ever learn the stink ball technique from the Skunk Brothers? Also, with lemurs being known for their unique fragrance, and Tangle being a rather athletic individual, do you think she's ever had to contend with a body odor? What does Tangle smell like, Ian? I need to know.
You paid money for this.
Why?
You paid money to put this in front of me. Why?
You know?
All right.
People pay money for stupider things. Have you seen NFTs?
So the thing with Ruff's stink bomber attack is we have to be very careful in how we phrase it and how we depict it, because we're not allowed to show characters excreting anything. Not sweat, not blood, not anything.
Yeah.
So whenever, he produces this attack, it has to be described as like a fog emanating around him. We cannot have him actually shooting poo gas. So that right there is already kind of a tricky thing to wrangle. It's not something I would want to extend to other characters. And it's not something as iconically known amongst the general populace in terms of lemurs. Everyone knows skunks stink, that they spray. That's the universal thing. Rabbits fast. Dogs go woof woof. Skunks stink. Lemurs, if you can find someone off the street who knows what a lemur is, they think, oh, it's the monkey thing. Now, those of us in the Sonic community are probably more geared to just be fans of zoology in general. But our fixation on animals and all the cool stuff that they do is not necessarily going to be in the wheelhouse of everyone else who's reading the book. So, long answer short, no, Tangle's just going to stick with the stretchy tail.
Okay. I have a problem where if I hear if I hear toilet humor, I immediately devolve into giggles because it doesn't even have to be toilet humor. It's just toilet related words like poo gas. Poo gas. All right, we better take a break before I get way too off track. Yeah. Poo gas. I'm gonna go let out some poo gas on this break, and then we'll be right back. We have returned with Gex, the Tail Timer. Oh yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one who remembers Gex. It's been nearing 3 years since Team Sonic Racing. Crazy. That just doesn't seem right. Anyway, are we not going to talk about Blaze the Cat's appalling racism? Generalizing a Tanuki right to his face and said she wouldn't associate with him for what he was.
Yeah, that is a bit of a mythological cultural thing that didn't quite translate. Tanuki in myth are trickster gods. They're generally benevolent, but they can be a bit pestersome. And if you don't know that, then it seems like Blaze is just being straight up mean.
Yeah.
But that could have, I don't know how you would necessarily localize that and still keep the essence of it, but I don't know if you really could. I had forgotten that the Dodonpa was a Tanuki, though. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Just like here you go. Here's a mythical creature just there. Also, he's from space.
That's why he is always in that little car thing, right? Isn't he always in something? Because Tanuki, yeah, Tanuki have a certain physical thing that, yeah. And let's see. Kitsune are bigger jerks than Tanuki apparently, and Tails is well, I mean, I guess he's not really a Kitsune. He just has 2 tails, but
yeah, that actually it has been specified in the past to refer to him as a fox and not a Kitsune. So
yeah, but then you have Kitsunami, which is like 3 levels of punnery. It's like
it's a pun.
We need to go deeper. We got a question here from Cypher. Now that issue number 2 of Imposter Syndrome is out and the Egg Cave was shown again, it makes me wonder. When the Egg Cave was featured in the annual of 2020, was it located in the Egg Base Alpha? Or was it in the Face Ship? And the one from Imposter Syndrome number 2 is a new Egg Cave.
No, it was in Egg Base Alpha all along, because Eggman, it's his egg cave. It's his man cave. It's his place to get away from work.
It's man cave.
So he left the face ship. He went to his egg cave. He played with his toys. And then when it was time to spread more misery, he went back to the face ship and did his thing.
Cool. Good for him. I'm glad he has 2 man caves. One a literal cave and the other one a ship. Good for him. Here's one from Sprites Forever. Hey, Ian, do you have a career or workflow advice for writing in general or comics specifically?
Yes. Do not be like me at all.
So many writers say that. Don't do what I did. So writers and artists both alike say that. Don't do what I did. I did it all the wrong way. Which, I mean, you're in the industry, so you must have done it the right way, to be honest.
Well, it could be better. If you are going to go into any kind of freelance self-employment type of thing, please, please, please take some kind of class or course or read a book or something on personal wealth management. I don't mean investing in stocks and trade and all that. If you want to do all that, go for it. But I mean just understanding how to properly budget and how to forecast your income versus your expenses and set things up for the long term. Because when I grew up, we were raised not talking about money. My folks didn't want us worrying about money, and so we didn't. And I went out into the world having absolutely zero idea how anything worked monetarily, and I have been paying for that ever since. I'm better about it now, but I'm still not great. So anything you can do now to educate yourself and prepare yourself on how to manage your funds is one of the most important things I stress, because working freelance is very much feast or famine. You're going to have months where everybody pays you up and you're sitting pretty, and then you're going to have 2 to 3 months where nothing comes in and it gets real scary.
Mm-hmm.
It gets real scary, especially when that job that you knew was going to come in at the end of this falls through and you don't know what you're going to do. It gets real scary.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you can take care of yourself. And if you can, find a way to set a good schedule for yourself. I am super bad at this. And there's some extenuating circumstances, but if you can keep yourself in a good position where you're eating right and you're getting a bit of exercise and you have time dedicated to getting work done and time dedicated to not working, that is ideal. Freelancing is not super conducive to that, because you will have times where multiple clients are coming to you and they want everything at the same time. So you're going to have to burn the midnight oil to get everything in on time. And there's going to be times where you don't have anything to do. Nobody wants you for anything, or everything's under review. So what do you do with that time? You need to figure out how to manage it well, and get your proper sleep and adult properly. And if you can get that figured out, please shoot me an email. I mean, I'm functioning at this point, but I am not at optimal peak efficiency here. As for writing and writing comics in general, I do have a few FAQs over at bumbleking.com. I keep waffling on the idea of sitting down and writing about how to write. I mean, there's a lot of books out there already, but I don't know if you would like to see some educational essays by me on the writing process and character theory and narrative construction and that sort of thing. Let me know. If there's a demand for it, maybe I can chisel out some time and actually sit down and do it, produce something other than Sonic in game stuff.
Maybe that would be something to put on Patreon. Put an incentive there. That would be pretty cool. We'll see. We'll see. I like the idea, though. Here's one from Son Amy Channel. I discussed with others about how Movie Sonic isn't Game Sonic or IDW Sonic, because Movie Sonic and the game are affected by time and they age. Movies are showing how Movie Sonic will grow up and mature, which SEGA doesn't allow Game Sonic to do. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, they're very different characters, even beyond the concept of time.
Right.
Is that Movie Sonic is much more, is younger, is more inexperienced, is almost a gentler soul, I would say, compared to modern Sonic. They're very different characters. Yeah, they're both Sonic, goes fast, kind of snarky, will do anything for the greater good, but they're very different characters in terms of their interpretations. That's part of the reason why I like the Sonic movie so much, is that it's recognizably Sonic, but it's a completely different spin on the character.
Yep.
And it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like that a lot. It's a. I think the thing is that movies are a form of storytelling where you need to have some of that forward momentum. You have to have a character like expanding. Otherwise, what's the point of the movie?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the just the way the movie works, you kind of have to do something different. Just the way movies work in general. So, and I appreciate that. I like it. So, I'm looking forward to the second one and seeing where they go with the characters, and having Tails and Knuckles in there. What do they do with their characters? How are they differentiated from their game or comic counterparts? And how are they similar? We'll see what happens. Here's one from Scruffy Matt. With the new Pokemon Legends Arceus game coming out soon, we've been seeing previews of some new regional variants of certain Pokemon like Growlithe, Braviary, Zorua, and Voltorb. What underused Pokemon would you like to see get a new form or evolution? This could be a previously undiscovered evolution, pre-evolution, regional variant, evolution, and or pre-evolution of a regional variant, new mega evolution, new Gigantamax form, or whatever else you can think of. Boy, Pokemon has gotten deep. Pokemon's gotten a little crazy over the last 3 decades almost. Anyway.
Personally speaking, I really dig the regional variants of the Pokemon. Take something that is fairly well known, mix it up with its typing, and give it a different look. And I don't know, something about that is just really cool to me. What is a good example? Like the Galarian Sirfetch'd. Like I love Farfetch'd by itself. I love that goofy little duck. And that was like the one thing I was most happy about in Sword and Shield is one, that it got an evolution, and two, it was a regional variant. So Kyle, I know you're not a big Pokemon guy.
Sure.
Farfetch'd is this cute little duck that carries around a leek, like a wand or a pole or something.
Okay. Yeah, I know this one.
Apparently it tastes delicious with a side of leek. And there's nothing really remarkable about him. It's just he's a cute little duck and he's named Farfetch'd. And I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah.
And then the evolution is Sirfetch'd, where he gets like broad-chested and the leek turns into this big leafy sword and shield, and he's just this gallant duck knight. And that's the funniest damn thing in the world.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, given there's like 900 of these freaking things, it's really hard to come up with something off the top of my head. That, and I don't want to be a Gen 1er over here, but after like Gen 4, there's a lot of stuff I'm not wild about. That's a lie. I liked a lot of Sun and Moon's critters, and I wasn't really fond of a lot of Gen 3 stuff. So I don't know. I kind of cherry pick what I like and what I don't. I wasn't really thrilled with a lot of Sword and Shield stuff either. But we're kind of losing the thread here. Personally, I want to see a full set of evolutions. And we have some, and they're all neat, except for Sylveon. I feel like that went too far off the mark. Don't at me. But I still want to see, like, give me a flying type, give me a stone type, give me a ghost type, give me a dragon type. Just all the EVs. Give me all the EVs. And I don't know, just like regional variants on some of the starters. There was, back when regionals became a thing, I saw somebody's concept for a water type Growlithe and Arcanine that was really freaking cool. Growlithe, for you, Kyle, is this kind of almost tiger patterned dog.
I'm familiar.
A little bit of Chinese lion mixed in there.
Uh-huh.
So their concept was take all the warm colors and make them cool colors, your blues and purples, and make all of that flowing white mane fur into like sweeping surf, almost kind of like sea foam. It was so freaking cool. It looked badass, and I was like, why is this not real?
Apparently there were new Growlithe variants in the new game.
Yes, I saw the Growlithe there, and it's a neat little look. It's kind of fun.
Looks like a dog.
And really, this isn't quite what you're asking, Scruffy, but what I'd like to do is just kind of get in there and do some revision on some of the things because it was a little helter-skelter there in the beginning. They experimented a lot with evolutions and variations and whatnot, and just some things I wish we could fix. Like, I'm sorry, Venonat should turn into Butterfree. The faces are there, the motif is there, the visual continuity is there. It should not be Venomoth. Venomoth should come from the Caterpie line. I know it's kind of ingrained, that's Gen 1 stuff, but it bugs the hell out of me. It's like, it's wrong. It needs to be fixed.
Get in there. Get in there with the same fine-tooth comb you had for Archie Sonic and just use it to blow everything out and start over. I don't know how you do that with a fine-tooth comb, but man, it's impressive.
I mean, come on now. The first evolutions go off of stones. So let's make it all stones. Give a Dusk Stone for an Umbreon, Sunstone for your Espeon. Don't go to like one location on the map to get your Sylveons and your Glaceons. Give them an Ice Stone and a Leaf Stone for pity's sake. Or if, okay, well, you couldn't do that in the past. Fine. Introduce the new Moss Stone. You chipped it off of that special rock in the forest, and now you can get a Leafeon anywhere. Just, of course, that's my EV bias anyway. And I'm going on way too long about Pokemon. Let's move on to the next
I think so. But that's okay. Here's one from Unlikely Veronica. Any chance on the IDW comic getting some sort of spin-off series like Sonic Universe, or are the miniseries and annuals once a year the new alternative to that?
I don't know. I know that it has been doing well enough that it has been talked about, but logistically, I don't think it's been in the cards. But given the number of miniseries and specials we're getting, we almost have the same amount of content. So
almost, yeah.
Keep asking for it. Let IDW know that you want more Sonic in your life, because so do I.
At IDW Publishing. Do it. Very nicely. Be nice. Say yes, please. There's one from Digama. So I remember, and I double-checked, that when IDW Sonic's editorial team was first announced, Joe Hughes was the only one mentioned to be editor. So that's got me wondering, did Dave Marriott join on later, or was he also there from the beginning, or at least when you were brought on, and just overlooked in the news at the time? If it's the former scenario, how much was produced before he joined on? I'd imagine that if he joined on at the absolute latest possible, that would still let him be credited on issue 1, then the only stuff done without him would be the initial year 1 plan, the scripts for the first stretch of issues, and maybe some of the earliest art, i.e. not much to make that much of a difference versus him being there from the start. And actually, a similar yet opposite question. What was the last stuff fully written outside of the general outline of the Metal Virus saga, which timeline-wise he'd definitely be around for, before Hughes left? His last credit was issue 9, but we know that comic book editor credits reflect who's around at some point pretty late in production, and not the entirety.
Generally, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I remember David being around from the get-go and as assistant editor. And for the life of me, I can't remember when Joe stepped down and David stepped up, which is a testament to just how smooth that transition was. It was, hi, David's editor now. He's going to be spearheading everything. Okay, hi, David. And just roll with it. It may have been Joe stepped down around issue 9. I really don't know. I don't remember.
Well then, here's a question from Grisket. I've been rereading through the Cosmo books. Fantastic job on those, by the way. And I was hoping to pick up a trade paperback of the second volume, the Mighty Martian series, but I can't seem to find it anywhere. Is it a digital exclusive, or is it just really hard to come by?
There was no printed trade, and I don't know why. Which is too bad, because the first one did really well. If you missed out on Cosmo, I do have the Mighty Martian series on the Bumble Comic Shop, along with a whole slew of variant covers from both the first arc and the second arc. So if you missed out, go over there, get yourself a signed book, and have some fun with a Flynn and Yardley book, like the good old days.
Yeah, that's a good series, man. It's a good series. You guys should have read it. You should read it now. Go. Here's a question from Damien the Hedge. So here's something I'm probably one of 5 people to actually think about. Whatever happened to Launch Base post Sonic 3? It's still around during Knuckles' campaign in Sonic 3, and Knuckles is just collecting dust on some remote lake on Angel Island. Has it blown itself up?
Interestingly, that actually got a note in something I worked on recently. And I'm working under the assumption now that Knuckles dismantled it. Like, it's gone. Um, Take that with a grain of salt, because I'm not 100% sure that's going to stick. But I was instructed not to go there, that to keep Angel Island kind of just pristine and naturely, which raises the question, does the same apply to Carnival Night? You know,
Yeah.
is Sky Battery crash somewhere? Is that gone? I don't know. But yeah, right now Launch Base is not there.
Weird. Hmm.
You'll see what I'm talking about later this year.
What did Knuckles do? Did he just like take all the parts and throw them in the ocean over the edge or something? I'm confused. So, weird.
Maybe he just tilted Angel Island kind of to the side and let it all fall off.
Yeah, he took the emerald off the pedestal for a quick second to let it kind of shake off. shake.
You got all the Pockies and Rickies clinging to the grass, going, no.
Yeah. It's weird. All right, here's one from the Cartoonist. Hey, Ian and Kyle, question to you both. Which was your favorite out of the Spielberg cartoons of the 90s? Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Freakazoid, and Pinky and the Brain. And do you have any favorite moments from said show? Was it the Freakazoid meets Fanboy who looks suspiciously like Paul Dini?
For me, it's Animaniacs.
Yeah.
I mean, Pinky and the Brain kind of falls under that umbrella since that's where it started.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely enjoyed Freakazoid a ton. But Animaniacs is the one that I feel like my family still quotes to this day. Like, I'm pretty sure I've said this on the show in the past. I will forever remember the one Thanksgiving episode where the three of them are natives trying to protect their turkey friend from the overly aggressive and macho pilgrim. And he pulls back a bow and arrow, and they tie a rope to the end of it, and he fires, and the rope is just spooling and spiraling as the scene goes on. And they come and say, "Nice shot. Thank ye. Too bad we'll never make it. And why not? Because the piano." What piano? Whang! And the rope is tied to a grand piano that just comes flying. The timing of it is perfect. And I remember my dad just about losing it at that bit. It's just like the whole thing is just great.
Yeah.
The music was great. It's a great big universe, and we're all really puny. We're a tiny little speck about the size of Mickey Rooney. It's big and black and inky, and we are small and dinky. It's a great universe, and we're not. That's just fun. Never mind, United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic.
No, Ian, no,
Caribbean,
no.
Greenland, El Salvador, too.
No.
Costa Rica, Bahamas.
No. Don't say Taiwan.
Oh no, we've been demonetized in China.
Oh no, we've been demonetized. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, probably.
Ridiculous. Oh well.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you there. Animaniacs was the best one, but I liked them all. Tiny Toons is kind of like the proto Animaniacs, but it'll always be there in my heart because I will always love Plucky Duck being like, Bali go down the hole. Elevator go down the hole. I'll quote that till the day I'm dead. So yeah, Tiny Toons was awesome. So Freakazoid, that's fun. Freakazoid didn't last nearly as long as the other three did it.
No,
I think it was only what was it, like 1 or 2 seasons?
Time.
I think, yeah.
Like today, I think it would go over a lot better. But if nothing else, it gave us Ricardo Montalban as a reoccurring villain.
Oh
and
man,
it's Ricardo Montalban just being himself.
Yeah,
it sounds like he's having a blast with each episode, just being goofy.
Yeah. And
laugh with me, my friend. Laugh with me. God, such a weenie. I am not the weenie. You are the weenie.
haven't watched Freakazoid in forever. Maybe I should refresh myself on it.
None of those moments would have sold if it wasn't Ricardo freaking Montalban, you know?
That's
Just come
true.
on.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm really glad they brought Animaniacs and Peaky and the Brain back. I'm a little disappointed that they got rid of some of the skits, but, you know, they're doing good stuff. So it's all good.
Well, we're going to wrap up this show with some questions for you, Kyle.
Oh, no. What could the people... How the
tables have turned?
What could the people possibly want to know about me?
Wolfsbane asks, This one is for Kyle, and possibly Ian too, if it pertains to him. Kyle, you've dropped a few wrestling-related references in the server from time to time. I'm curious, are you still a current fan, or have you become lapsed over the years? Which era was your favorite? Who were your favorite wrestlers, matches, themes, etc.?
All right. So my relationship with pro wrestling entertainment specifically is an interesting one. I'm more of an outsider. I'm not a fan of pro wrestling per se, but I know a lot of people who are, and I have absorbed a lot about it through osmosis. And I've seen clips and memes and stuff here and there. And I've played plenty of wrestling video games. So, but I'm not like an actual... I never really got into like actually watching wrestling much. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly everything about them, but it's also the fact that I've read a lot and seen a lot of videos and stuff where people are talking about just the weird and wild and wacky things that have happened in wrestling. Like freaking how WCW just went on a downhill spiral following the finger poke of doom. Stupidest thing. It's just like, what? Why? Why would you do this? Anyway, who are my favorite wrestlers? I will always have a soft spot for Macho Man. Always will. He kind of got raked over the coals with being a heel, and then with Hulk Hogan, kind of got screwed over with Hulk Hogan. I feel like I just don't. I liked Macho Man better, but they kind of made him weird because he was obsessed with a woman. So, and let's see. I'm not gonna say matches because, like I said, I've not watched enough wrestling to really say that I have favorite matches. But I do know I love like promos and stuff. Like I've seen plenty of those. Oh man, who were those guys in AEW or not AEW? NXT, who were like they were supposed to be like from the 20s, kind of. That was their gimmick, was they were wrestlers from the 20s, or they had that kind of vibe to them, and I'm completely forgetting what their name was now. It was a tag team. But there's also the New Day, who are just like video game nerds coming into the ring while playing the Final Fantasy fanfare on trumpet. That's glorious. It's great stuff. It's definitely a fun thing. Good for my nerddom. And some Japanese wrestlers coming out to like Mega Man 2, Dr. Wily stage theme and stuff like that. That's pretty awesome. Or there was, coming out our Sans theme, Kenny Omega with Megalovania in Japan. Yeah, that happened. It was wild. But yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. I like looking at it from the outside, from an outsider's perspective. I've definitely like read a lot about it and seen some stuff, seen a few videos about it, and some weird documentaries like what was it called? Wrestling is Wrestling. That's a very silly video that really captures the essence of what wrestling is. Yeah. It's great stuff, you know? It's very, very silly. I couldn't get into watching it directly necessarily, but I don't know, just the things I hear about, and there's so many fun, larger-than-life characters. It's silly. Just the behind the scenes drama is about as or even sillier than the drama that was on screen. So, yeah. What about you, Ian?
I never really got into it but my freshman year of college, my roommate and I came to an agreement where he would, we only had the one TV in the room. He would sit and watch Dragon Ball Z with me if I would watch WWE with him.
Mm-hmm.
And we both gained an appreciation for them and came to the decision that they're the same thing, just one has lasers.
Exactly. They pretty much are.
And I came to get a much greater respect for the art when you consider these are big dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And the amount of gymnastics that they are performing while not being built as gymnasts and not hurting each other as much as they could, the amount of, stage falls and stage combat they're performing in the round on such a repeated schedule, learning new fights every single match. And again, coming away from this largely unscathed is really impressive. The amount of physical control you have to do this is just awe-inspiring, really, when you get down to it.
Yeah, the
staying in character.
The athleticism is insane with these guys. They are just like outstanding. But they do get messed up a lot, but they don't get it nearly as messed up as you'd think, being like literally fighting each other.
Yeah. Like, I know accidents happen and there are injuries, sure. But like you had there was one match with, I think it was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he's in a pair of leg braces because his knees were destroyed, and he's still performing some of these stunts. Or there was like talk behind the scenes where I think it was Hulk Hogan had broken some ribs or something, and he was still taking some falls.
Yeah.
And he's not bandaged up. Like, dang, I know wrestling is fake. Yeah, but still, the amount of what they do that is real to me is even more impressive.
The storylines are fake, but the physicality is very real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the things Mick Foley did, just to his body in the name of entertainment, is just ridiculous. That guy was just on another level. I do quite like Mick Foley a lot.
And I remember, because my roommate, Josh, if you're listening, shout out to you, buddy. He was, really big into wrestling, but he wasn't one of the folks who was like, oh my God, it's so real. He was really big into the business and the storytelling and the presentation.
Right, exactly.
And he was like giving me insight into how all of the theatrics are constructed. And I remember there was one episode where I think, because we were watching around the time The Rock was getting big, and when Hulk Hogan came back as part of the NWO?
Correct.
Question mark?
Yeah, that's right.
And it was hilarious because the crowd loved him too much. They couldn't keep him a heel. They had to do a face turn on him. But I think it was still when he was in the heel phase, and somebody who was way too into the show actually jumped the barrier during his entrance and jumped him a bit. And the way that the camera immediately cut away, that the commentators never lost a step and never acknowledged this. And then there's a shot in the ring where he and The Rock are facing each other down, giving their mad dog faces, but you could read their lips. And I think The Rock was saying, "Are you okay, buddy?" And Hogan's like, "Yeah, man, I'm fine." And it's like, wow, never broke character, never, dropped the veil of illusion, even though, somebody actually could have gotten hurt and the show went on. That was really impressive to me.
Yeah. Just they do so much to like just maintain the whole entertainment and just make sure that the show goes on. But I kind of hate that they do it at the expense of themselves a lot of the time. There's just I don't know. There's so much of that too, and I know there's been a lot of controversy, especially recently, of the way that these guys just fling themselves around, and it's insane. It's like Shane McMahon doing a freaking dive off I don't forget what he was on. Was he on a cage when he did that? That was freaking ridiculous. Or Mick Foley taking a dive off of a cage and into a table. Like, what in the heck is going on? Okay, it was Hell in a Cell that happened, yeah. Oh, it's just so ridiculous. The way that these guys and girls just put themselves through so much. It's wild. So, and I think I find like the stuff in the background and, you know, the behind the scenes things a bit more interesting too, and sort of the physicality and the artistry and the storytelling required for doing what they do, more so than the actual like drama of the stories themselves. Because a lot of times those fall apart pretty easily and pretty quickly. They tend to be trying to get over certain guys, and then when they don't get over, they just drop them, and then they drop storylines, and that's frustrating. The writing is frustrating, I will say, from what I've seen and from what I've heard from people. The writing is like it's not great, but
it's basically soap operas. You're constantly churning out this ever evolving narrative, and you have to be at the whims of what happens to these athletes as they are getting injured on set.
Yep.
You have to worry about fan response. You have to worry about if somebody says something dumb on Twitter, and you only get one take.
That's true. That's true. Usually, yeah. And then there's the travel schedule and the absolute, just the way that hammers the stars, and they're just like, on planes almost year round and with almost no breaks, and it's just, man, it's crazy. Those guys are dedicated, though. I appreciate that, but I feel like some that's like not really sustainable. Like at some point that might have to change, but I don't know. We'll see.
Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. One last question for you, Kyle.
Alrighty.
This one comes from Andrew D. So we all know Kyle is the real mastermind. Kyle, what can you tell us about your writing process for Sonic, as well as the upcoming game? What can we expect?
Well, I am stealing everything Ian has done ever and putting it all in the game. That's what you can expect. I'm just going to plagiarize Ian, and there's nothing he can do about it because I'm his boss.
Yep.
So that's it. I'm bringing back, who am I bringing back? Tommy Turtle. That's who I'm bringing back. People loved him, so he's definitely coming back. He's going to be playing a major role. He's actually going to replace Tails. Tails is I'm gonna kill off Tails because we don't need him. Why do we need Tails when we got Tommy Turtle? Who else? What else am I gonna do? I think I might kill off Sonic too. We don't need him. We can just make it the Tommy Turtle show instead. I think that'll work. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen, so look forward to that.
Do we have to replace the BumbleKast logo with a Tommy Turtle?
Yes. This is no longer the BumbleKast, dude. This is Tommy Turtle Cast.
Okay.
Yes. We're gonna have the Adventures of Tommy Turtle and Bivalve.
You got it, boss.
Yes, and we're getting rid of Eggman and replacing him with Mama Robotnik. Because that's what the fans want, and who am I to deny the fans?
See, I would scream bloody murder at this point, but the cattle prod will come down, and I've learned my lesson. So I'm just going to sit here down in the dungeon, shackled to the floor, and just do what I'm told.
Okay, good. That's right. Glad you're finally getting through this, Ian. We've had our disagreements in the past, but you finally understand just how powerful my influence is. But I'm going to prod you anyway, so poke.
Jesus, God, that never gets old. Well, now that we're ending on that high note, I'm going to give a big thank you to everyone who makes the Tommy Turtle Cast possible. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., sorry, Cattle Prod still got on the brain, Sam Cybercat, Torchbound, Mike B., Coupling Crew 128, Do As Diz Den, Diane W., Andrew D., Dave M., Scrubby Matt, Salute Your Cat, Off, Chris A., Sony, J. Frost, John M., Noni, Jib, Dawn B., Yami M., Hero of Light 13, Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Ryan D., Piggy Bank, Blue Title Gamer, Tick Tick, Final Neil, Ben W., Invade Turbo Tunis, he said, enunciating, Fiona M., Jonathan D., Sonic, Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Dappler the Dalek, Daniel B., Pedanticat, Dove, Red the Super Namek, Pandolce, Carlos, Joe S, Chad, Jennifer H, Preston M, The Name is X, Nemric, Les, Alphamon or Yukon, Ava Arctic, Chase L, Sapphire Scarletta, Noah S, Patron Saint of the Chicken Nuggets, St. German, Rodman, Corjero Highwind, Professor Rye, Solaris Stain, Cameron H, Owen BD, Red Wolf, Kimiko, Callum Q, Radri, Zandaroni the Painter, Turbo, Crooker, Nathan J, Just a Mountain Soul, Lewis J, In Zephyr, Maddie H, Alex the Border Collie, Ty H, For Sonic Fan, Techno Cinema, KJB, Mox, Rusty Cook, Doruseval, Lacey M? Lacey M. That's a CH, so we're going to say Lacey M. Unlikely Veronica, Axis, Chaos Voltage, Mini Hats, Yoshi Milkman, Gex the Tail Timer, Sprites Forever, Son Amy Channel, Grisket, Damien That Hedge, and The Cartoonist.
The Cartoonist. All right, that's it. We're done.
We absolutely are. We will see you Wednesday for the standard Q&A here on the Tommy Turtle Cast.
Push the button, Ian.
I would push the button.
Lost Turtle Tales. When is Lost Turtle Tales coming out? Okay, so you know that Surge is green. No! How dare you? Why would an evil Sonic be green? Never happens. Stupid design choice. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. So, how much did you actually spoil there? How much do we need to cut out?
I am oversimplifying things.
Okay.
And you know what? Actually, come to think of it, maybe I should just rephrase that.
Because,
let me do
that. I mean, there's a lot of
again.
people in the chat who are freaking out, like you may have.
I mean, that's not like 100% accurate, but yeah, that skews a little too close to home. So let me do a replacement line.
Okay.
So, yes, Dr. Starline is a brilliant roboticist, and yes, you have two characters who get souped up with powers to take out the main hero, and god damn it, I did write the Android Saga again.
Good job, Ian.
Yeah, well, this is why we pre-record and you edit.
Yep. Yep. Throw the comics away. No good now.